birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Benjamin. Happy birthday to you.
Benjamin was the first hug, the first time I held him, love at first sight. November 1st, 2000 and...
this day, exactly last year.
2010?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had just gone to the doctor in America to, we were wondering why are we not having children? So we, needless to say, it was a very dark time for us, but especially for me.
I remember just really praying and crying out to God and just saying, okay, God, well, please help us get through this really dark, this low time for us. And I remember even saying specifically, okay, God, if even today, right now, there's some child out there that's being born, that's being abandoned, that's out there that needs a mom and dad, you're gonna have to bring him or her to us.
We came here and we met Benjamin. You look at him and check. And then they gave us the medical reports and all the paperwork, the police report, and there it is. November 1st. That's the day that they found him. And they said that was the day that he was born.
And I said, babe, what were we doing November 1st last year? And he was like, we started thinking, and I was like, I think that's the same week that we were in Raleigh. And I think we went to see that particular doctor. And so I was like, let me go look in my journal. And I opened that journal and I remember just looking at it and I just started weeping. Because I was like, oh my gosh. You know, Lord, this whole time, this whole dark year that we've had, you know, you had a plan and you really did. That same day of all days, you know, was the same day that Benjamin was being born and he was being thrown away. And you saved him just for us.
We don't say that New Life Home is the end of the journey. It's just the beginning, actually. We arrived in Kenya in 1989 when, coming from church one Sunday, we picked up a Sunday newspaper and we found a centre page article that highlighted the plight of abandoned babies, particularly those who were HIV positive.
This is how I like them. In '93, we came across a baby that had been abandoned in the hospital and was HIV positive and very sick. The doctor says, look after it until it dies, you know, it's going to die. But he refused to die, so we eventually adopted him.
Oh, why are you crying?
So that's why we decided we would start a home, thinking it would be a hospice, but at least they would be loved and cared for until they died and not just die being unloved.
These are the children that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad with them. These are the children that the Lord has made. We are the people that the Lord has made, We will rejoice and be glad with them.
And the gates have become very symbolic and significant to us because we realize that when a baby passes through these gates, that everything changes for that baby. Before they come through these gates, they're facing almost certain death in most cases, but the moment they come through these gates, life is as good as assured for them.
It's just the crossing of the threshold, everything changes.
This is the newest baby. We've had him just over a week, and he was abandoned outside and brought by the police. And he's done very well now. He's very cute, isn't he?
And when these babies come, you can see death written on their faces, disappointment, fright. They're so young, they've no bonding with anybody. A couple of days later, with just love and hugs and kisses and feeding and taking care of them and eye contact, you can see life just like a light bulb just switched on suddenly.
We've grown from one home, and then we've opened in Kisumu and Nyeri and Nakuru and so on. But in those very early days when children had to go to the hospital, we would end up with very high hospital bills. And I would sit there, how are we going to pay this bill? And then it seems as if God took me back to the family and said, look, I'm the one that called you, and in the end, I'm the father of these children. I'm the one who has said in the Bible that I love the orphan, and I will put the orphan in families. So just trust me. So once that got into my head, that I just had to trust him, then I started writing checks. When I needed to write checks, often when we didn't have the money in the bank. But I tell you, in these 18 years history of New Life Home, we have never once been in the red. We got very close to it, and it was a test to our faith, but we've never been in the red. No check has ever bounced. We have now just reached 1,300 babies that we have been able to rescue. You know, when we started, we had about 1% adoptions, and about 1% of that 1% were Kenyans. Now, we're getting about 80% adoptions, and about 80% of that 80% are Kenyans.
But there are a few, it's a significant number, but overall it's a few proportionately that haven't been adopted. And for those children, in some cases they go to other homes that we know and trust, but we also have our own family homes where we care for about 35 slightly older children. We haven't given up hope, and we're still believing and praying and trusting that these children will find adoptive families, which has happened in some cases, and we still believe that that's the better option.
My two little sons, King Solomon and Dr. Luki. Yes, who can lift up his head? Well, the reports say a lady found Solomon on her farm, thrown out, newborn. So she took him to the police station, and the police took him to New Life Home in Nyeri. According to them, they really didn't think there was much hope for him even to lift his head or sit up, let alone use his hands. So that was it, and that's what I was told. But within 2 months, or less than 2 months of being home, Solomon was almost being destructive. I mean, he'd go to the shelf, the bookshelf, and get the CD players and throw them to the ground. And my sister would come and say, "Continue, Solomon, do it, do it." Just the fact that he was, could use his hands. Because they said he wouldn't do anything. We couldn't even feed him normally because his jaw was open like that. So we'd have to exercise. You'd have to hold him out here like this and put food inside. Now no more. He can keep it down himself. He chews it himself. Yeah. He's a fighter. He's a go-getter. Luki is more compassionate and every day tells me, "Mommy, I love you so much." But the thing is that they complement each other. Head up, head up. Yes, up. Good boy. And the more I look at him, the more we spend time together, I know I made the right choice. I still don't have the answer. But I know I made the right choice, and that was God's will and plan for us.
We wanted to create a place, a home for a child who had been abandoned and was, in that sense, unwanted. And so we decided to take the most likely not to be adopted and give them that home. The home did tell us that she was the one child in the home who did not like being in the home. She would often struggle with the fact of being fostered out and then brought back. And she seemed to believe that that was an indication that she had done something wrong and that nobody wanted her.
I think my husband is braver than I am. I'm the one who had probably felt a little afraid. And we really prayed about it. I needed to hear a personal word from God, and God really did speak to me. But my husband, he felt it would work out. But he's the braver of the two of us.
For us in Africa, the crisis of HIV and AIDS and all the orphan children is an opportunity to reclaim a lost generation. I think if anybody should adopt children, it should be Christians. Because at the end of the day, we have all been adopted into the family of God.
When I walked right in here, it just felt, I was meant to be here. I just love babies. I come from Monday through Friday in the mornings, and then Saturdays I spend the whole day. And I'm trusting God, I really want to bless this home, financially and materially too. So I'm just trusting God, at the right time, He'll help me with that.
To me, this is home. I actually feel, I can't explain it. It's just home. You just feel at home here. So I tell people, come to New Life and you're at home.
In one room, you might find there are only 3 social workers. Caregivers, sorry. And the kids are like 15, so you can, or like 10. So you can imagine when they are crying, all of them. Yeah, so when they are volunteers like us, you help them too, just to make the kids
calm the babies.
Yeah, calm them down. To me, it's just a way of giving back to the community.
You can see the pictures of how the maggot was eating the.
The person who rescued Benjamin, is he do people know who he is? Or is just a well-wisher that...
Just a good Samaritan. He was just a good Samaritan
that did his work and disappeared.
In fact, he was not from that village. This is where the toilet where Benjamin was found. It was a structure, but now, they have filled it up.
So this hole, it went 18 feet down?
18 feet down, yes.
Okay. So when they pulled him out, did they pull him out through this way or out the side?
Through the side.
So after he was found and pulled out, they destroyed that one?
They destroyed that one and then they put a new one.
It's sad. Surrounding all these houses, nobody could hear a woman throw a kid. Alikuwa tu hivi hivi?
Kalikuwa hivi.
Kalikuwa kameshomeka hivi.
She said that she was shocked that pretty much they thought they would take away this baby and the baby would be dead. And so when we showed her the picture of what he looks like now, you could see just the shock, but yet the happiness and the joy, in her face.
We have admitted 99 babies, and we have about 57 of them being adopted.
So his English is still good, but not his Kiswahili. Okay.
the main challenge is just now to get to the mind of the people that, you know, well, even if the home look fairly nice and smart, it doesn't mean that we have money. We believe that if we put God in first of everything, you know, everything is going to go according to His will.
November 1st last year, this kid was born, and you know what happened, and abandoned. But God brought him to new life, and eventually to us, and we thank God for that. There are many people out there that they want to adopt so badly, but is this cloud of doubt hovering over their heads, thinking, how can I love a child that did not come out of me? Man, I'm a testimony. I had the same doubt, and it can happen. It has happened. It has happened to me. You know, it is possible. God is good all the time. God is good. Yeah.
You know, this is what it's all about. It's not about us. It's not about New Life Homes. It's all about putting children into families. The fact that somebody found them in a hedge, wherever it may have been, we believe that there was a plan for that child, you know, that they were not to die, that they were to live. And we want them to stay in Kenya. We feel we're going to build a nation. So many, of course, people in Kenya are dying of HIV, and these are the ones which are not dying.
Alpha